This delicious and cheesy dish is sure to become a staple in your family's dinner rotation. Stuffed peppers are packed with flavors and so simple to create. So let's get started. Pronto? Allora andiamo a cucinare. Ciao my friends, welcome to my kitchen. This is where I teach you easy recipes for everyday healthy cooking. And today is stuffed peppers and I love it. It's one of my go-to recipes that I can just whip up with any leftovers that I could possibly have. Ours is going to be with beef and rice. So to start with, we have a saute pan and we are going to add a couple tablespoons of olive oil. So we want to start with an onion and I'm basically just dicing it into small pieces. We want everything that we're doing in here to be small because we're just stuffing the cavity of the pepper, so we don't want anything to be too big. So we're going to add that to our pan. Okay, and to the onions we want to add some crushed garlic. We do want to add some salt as well as some fresh cracked pepper. And we just want to stir that just so that the salt is all incorporated and that the onions get a little bit translucent. I like to add a lot of vegetables to my filling, so I am kind of making a mirepoix here with some carrots and celery. Again, I want to cut these up really fine because we are going to be filling the cavity. All right, so I'm going to add my carrots. I'm going to add celery. I notice that my pan is kind of dry. Instead of adding more olive oil, I will add a little bit of a splash of water just to kind of create that steam effect, and that will just help the vegetables to continue cook without them drying out. You don't have to add water. It could be a wine, it could be a broth, whatever you want, but almost everybody has water, so I just figure it's a good source. But you can add whatever kind of liquid you want if you want to add just a little bit so it doesn't burn. All right, so after they've been cooking for about 5 minutes or so, we want to go ahead and add our ground meat. And we're doing ground beef, but you could do ground chicken or turkey or pork or whatever you'd like. So we're adding our ground beef in here. And we just want to go through and just kind of break it up so that it starts to get kind of separated and gets nice and golden brown. So while we're waiting for our meat to cook, we can get our bell peppers ready. So I have 4 bell peppers here. And if you followed me before on the channel, you know I always say look at the bottom of the bell pepper. If there's 4 humps, it's a female, it's a sweeter pepper. 3 humps is a male. So we want to cut our bell peppers in half, and I'm going to fill them up this way. You could cut the tops off and stuff them the other way. That's totally fine. And we've got the rib in here. So we want to go through with our small knife and just kind of clean that rib out. And then we want to place it in our dish. And if it rocks too much, we can just slice a little bit. But this one actually is pretty good. Let's go ahead and do this one now. And if you want to keep the stem on, you can. For aesthetics, it's kind of cool looking. All right, so we've cleaned it out really nice and we've kept the stem on, so that's good. And so that actually sits perfect. So we'll just put those in our dish and I'll just continue doing the rest while we wait for our meat to cook. Okay, so once it looks like the meat is all cooked, we want to go ahead and add in our can of diced tomatoes. So now we want to continue letting this cook until the tomatoes cook a little bit for about 5 minutes. Okay, so now at this point, I like to add some rice to it. Also, brown rice, more of a whole grain rice. I find that it's filling and it kind of stretches out the filling a little bit, but you know, brown rice is good for you. Usually when I have leftover, I always make extra brown rice when I do rice, and I'll freeze any leftovers for times like this. But I didn't have any and I didn't feel like making any, so I just bought some already made. So I'm just kind of cheating on that right now. So I'm going to take about half of this and add it to the meat. We're just going to kind of stir this in. I'm just going to kind of see where we're at, if I want to add more or not. But I think about half is good. So, all right, we'll just save that for another time. All right, so there we have our filling. I'm going to take it off the heat now. I'm going to add about a tablespoon of Italian seasoning. I've also got about a half a cup of shaved Parmesan cheese, so I'm going to add that. I have about a cup of shredded mozzarella cheese, and I'm going to actually add about half of that and save the other half. And then I have some whole ricotta cheese. I'm going to add, this is a 15-ounce container. I'm just going to add half of it. And I just like the whole milk. It's more creamy. So So that's just my preference. All right, now at this point, we're just going to mix everything so it's all evenly incorporated. I'm just gonna taste to make sure we have enough salt in here. I think I'm gonna add just a little bit more. So we have our oven that's been preheating at 400 degrees. And so now I'm gonna go through each one of these bell peppers and I'm gonna fill all the cavities with this filling. Oh, you can see how cheesy that is. Now you can fill these with pretty much anything you want. If you have anything, you know, left over, beans, mushrooms. I mean, it's, you know, whatever your imagination. So I just wanna make sure, go through, make sure they're all full, and then I'll go back and then I'll stuff them some more. All right, so I still have some filling left over, and that's totally fine. It happens sometimes. So generally what I'll do is I'll either, depending on what's going on during the week, I will save it for maybe putting some pasta in it. I'll maybe make it with a frittata, some eggs, or I'll just freeze it. So the next time I feel like having stuffed peppers, I've already got the filling done, and it's just a matter of stuffing some new peppers. So, all right, now at this point, I want to take whatever mozzarella cheese that I had left and just kind of sprinkle over each one of the peppers, some more cheese. And of course, if you want to add more cheese than what's on the recipe, by all means, go for it. So now we want to cover it with foil, but before we do that, because there's cheese on here, the cheese is going to stick to the foil when we take it off. I like to take a little bit of spray, oil spray, and just spray my foil and then cover it. So this way when I take the foil off, all the cheese won't be stuck to the foil. And so now we want to place it in the oven until it gets nice and hot. And so it will be probably about 20-30 minutes. Now this is definitely something you can make ahead of time. Put it in the refrigerator or freeze it and then just go ahead and cook it. So if it's cold or frozen, obviously it's going to take a little bit longer to cook. But for now, because everything's hot, it should be about 20-30 minutes. So I will show you what it looks like when it comes out and how we finish it. All right, they're done. Now's the unveiling. Oh my gosh, they look so good. Okay, so now we are just going to plate our bell pepper. Perfect. And I like to just garnish with just a little bit of parsley, just like that. All right, so now let's just go ahead and give this one a try. Cheesy goodness. It's just all over the place here. It's hot because it just came out. You can taste that cheese. This is really good. I hope you guys give this one a try. I have a great dessert that'll go perfect with this recipe. And until next time, I'm Chef Lucia, and I'll see ya. Ciao.